Ready? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes the blues just get a hold of you. Or just when you thought you had made it. All around the block, people will talk. I wanna give it all I've got. I just don't want, and I don't want to waste it. I'm talking about sweet seasons on my mind, and it sure does appeal to me. You know we can get there easily, just like a sailboat sailing on the sea. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Most times you choose between the two. Oh, wondering if you had made it. Yeah, and I got my dreams, I got my plans. I watch the seasons running away, and I'll build me a life in the open. Yeah, I'm talking about sweet seasons on my mind. Yeah, it sure does appeal to me. You know we can get there easily. We'll be just like a sailboat sailing on the sea. Talking about sweet, a little bit of sweet seasons on my mind. Talking about sweet seasons on my mind. Yeah, it sure does appeal to me. You know we can get there easily. We'll be just like a sailboat sailing on the sea. Talking about sweet, 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 sweet seasons. Talking about sweet, sweet, sweet seasons. Yeah, we're talking about sweet, sweet seasons. Sweet, sweet, sweet seasons.
Thank you, Rachel. Good morning and welcome to Unity on Greenville. I'm Wesley Baker. I'll be your celebration assistant today. So welcome virtually, and welcome to those that are in the sanctuary. It's a beautiful day outside, so thank you for being with us this morning. We have a few slides coming, if I can get to the announcements. So after the service, we have Reverend Doug Unplugged. We're staying in the sanctuary today, so we can do it virtually. And then there will be some snacks afterwards for those that are here in the sanctuary. So welcome to stay and join us for that. And then if we have upcoming events, if you want to go onto our website, you can see if you're not getting our e-news, you can sign up for the e-news and you'll get email every week with all our information, all our activities, all the things that are upcoming. So you can do that. And then while you're there, you can connect with us. If you go to click on About Us and then click on Resources, then you can enter your information and you'll be connected with us and Reverend Doug, or for those from the church will have access to you. And while you're there on our website, you can leave a donation. You can click on the donate button and enter electronic information, or you can mail a check to Unity on Greenville here at the church, and we're happy to have that. We really appreciate the continued support that we've gotten out of the community over these last couple of years. While it's been very challenging, our church has been extremely blessed with still strong support financially and a very strong situation. So we're very happy for that. Thank you. And we'll bless those offerings. So this offering blessing is on the screen if you'd like to share with me, and we'll read it together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. With gratitude, we commit to using our gifts for good. And with that, we'll move to our prayer time. Bristol is our prayer chaplain today, and she's going to come up front and lead us in prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Lovely day, yes? Yes? All your lovely smiles. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. I can stay up here just looking at you. All your beautiful faces. Welcome to all of you that are with us virtually. I feel your energy, your love, your divine essence, and it is beautiful. So let's go ahead. My name is Bristol, and I will be here after service for prayer. I am more than happy to pray with you. No prayer is too small or too large. The greatest gift that any two people can share is time in prayer. So don't be shy. Y'all come down. Okay. Let's settle in and just breathe for a moment as we allow sweet spirit to envelop us. As we allow ourselves to feel appreciation and acknowledge how blessed we are. And at the same time, let us open our hearts and offer our prayers to those in the Ukraine, for the children, for the mothers, for the husbands that are separated from their families, for women who are separated from their husbands, as they face with great divine courage that comes from within, that only divine source can provide. We offer appreciation to Poland, to Romania, to Ireland, and to all the countries that have opened their doors to the refugees, to all the men and women who are finding resources for the refugees, food, water, those that are striving to get medical supplies to the Ukrainian soldiers. Let us also remember the men and women in Russia, the citizens that are standing up under horrendous fear, literally risking their lives, speaking out for freedom. God is also with them, and they are in our prayers. And we will see the light of day. We will, as a human society, we will make it through this time, because there is no force more powerful than divine love. It brings clarity, it brings strength. And so it is. Namaste.
And let's take this time in our service together. A sweet stillness. Knowing all the beautiful things that our prayer chaplain Bristol named. Knowing that our altar is adorned with sunflowers. A symbol for Ukraine. Knowing that the beauty of the sunflower always turns to the light, turns to the sun. Knowing this as we take this time to become still, to quiet the thoughts of our minds, any requests, any needs, we just allow them to drift aside and move into the center, into our heart space. Here we know there's a wellspring that is the vital connection of God, life-giving, life-affirming, where peace is not only revealed, but peace is known. So as we, like the sunflower, continue to turn to the light, we wrap our love and our hearts around our communities, our nation, our world, in this beautiful light and this love. And as we do so together, we collectively join in a time of peace, stillness, and sweet silence. So join me for those moments, those precious still moments in the silence. Extending our breaths, long inhales, full exhales. A slower pace, a pace where we can clearly connect to the heart. Sweet Spirit, we are grateful. Grateful for this time to spend quiet moments in the stillness. Grateful for the love that is palpable here in this sanctuary and in our world. Looking to the light, leaning into the light, knowing the light of God surrounds each person, and love prevails in every corner of our world. And so as we move out of this time of stillness, we come back to the sweet smile of this present moment, from that wellspring of peace, of love, renewed, refreshed. And we send that vitalized energy from right here in the sanctuary of our being out into the world, claiming peace. And so it is. Amen.
Every morning, about 7:15. I look out my window, it's a watercolor scene. Here's to life, 24 hours to unfold. I'm getting to see my garden grow. Just a little more raindrops breaking through my rocky ground. My heart unfolds, is how my garden grows. Just a little more sunshine, light of truth explodes. It warms my soul, and it's how my garden grows. Every evening, about 10:15, I close my eyes to the landscape of my dreams. Peace in the world is my prayer I want to see, until the world is truly free. Just a little more raindrops breaking through my rocky ground, till my heart unfolds. It's how my garden grows. Yeah, just a little more sunshine, the light of truth explodes, and it warms my soul. It's how my garden grows. Hey, ooh, my garden grows. Gonna make my garden grow through the light of my soul. Yeah, let's make it grow. Just a little more raindrops, just a little more raindrops, just a little more sunshine, just a little more sunshine. Yeah, just a little more raindrops, just a little more raindrops, just a little more sunshine, just a little more, just a little more till your garden grows. Look out your window at the watercolor scene.
What a beautiful gift. Thank you, Rachel. We have our own ray of sunshine right behind the piano here. Yeah, a little more raindrops, a little more sunshine. Love that. Did you love that? Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Beautiful. Works so well with today. We are talking about planting seeds today. Planting seeds. What seeds are we planting? Met some of you last week. For those of you that don't know, I'm Reverend Doug Doerr, serving in the interim capacity here at Unity on Greenville, and what a joy it is to be with you. And everyone joining us online. We have a lot of people joining us online now. Did you know that? They may not be able to see you, but just raise your hands and wave behind you, just in case, yeah? There's a lot of love coming at you. For those of you that haven't been here in a while, or you're joining from across the miles, we're loving you. We're sending our love and blessings to you. Love is at the heart and the root of all things. You like that? Love is at the heart and root of all things. It's not a quiz, but you know who said that? Eric Butterworth. Anyone ever taken a class, Discover the Power Within? Eric Butterworth, one of the classic texts in Unity. I love that. It's a sticky note that God woke me up with about 4:20 this morning and said, remember what Eric Butterworth said? And so there's some sticky notes here because that's how it works. You prepare a talk and all of a sudden Okay, here goes the sticky notes. It's going to change a little bit. Planting seeds. Gosh, what a glorious season that we're in. Just waking up, and just from the last week when you walked outside, didn't you have a little more motivation to do some things? Did you start cleaning off the porch, or maybe looking at some plants, or looking at some of the maybe old leaves or old plants? I did. I'm honored and grateful. And if you're seeing something in my face, for those of you who can see closely, have some frustration with my garden too. So when we bought the place that we're in right now, it had already had a designated 1,300 square foot fenced off area. That's big. You know 1,300 square feet? That's the size of a house. Garden, well-appointed, beds, raised beds, path, crushed granite, center fountain, potting shed. It's just kind of like the dream garden. And all the beds were designated with the herbs and the vegetables and the root vegetables and all the different lettuces, and then the flowers and the various ones that would come up at different seasons. And I knew some gardening growing up, but I don't know that I knew, this is crops at 1,300 square feet. But it was my number one yes to saying yes to this property, because I loved what I named the Peace Garden, dedicated it to Myrtle Fillmore. And the Peace Garden at the center has a fountain, and just hearing that rippling fountain. So nice, and beautiful seasons and working in the garden. You know what that's like? It's just that love fest. So that love fest lasted a little while. You ever worked in a garden before and then it kind of went left or went right? Yeah. So after I got really kind of situated with it and kind of knew what was there and what was growing and what it needed, I started working with the watering system and the different soil and different fertilizers, and studying all the various insects that would come visit. Really some really cute ones, but not necessarily healthy for the garden. And we decided to take a trip. 10 days, it was about 14-day turnaround. Garden looking good. I mean, some stellar pictures. Stellar photos of this garden. People would just ooh and ah over the garden. Could I get married in the garden? It's that beautiful. 14 days doesn't seem like a big deal, does it? But this is where tending the garden comes from. We came back. First thing, I couldn't wait I had to see Sophie first, my dog Sophie. But then it's to the garden. Come on, Sophie, let's go. And I opened up the garden gate, and it was like I had been punked. It had to be a joke, right? Because this beautiful photograph, Better Homes and Gardens looking garden, had things I'd never seen before that were as tall as me. Some things were underwatered, some things were eaten. Some things got too much sun, some things didn't get enough. And it was a mess. Devastating. And I know I'm kind of laughing humorously, but that moment was like, okay, maybe I give up. Maybe I'm not a gardener. I kind of wanted to turn around and go the other way and just, okay, do we just make it into a dog park or hardscape everything? There were some moments of me looking at that and kind of realizing what this garden was giving me, and it was giving me an opportunity to experiment, to understand what could I handle as one person with 1,300 square foot and a really helpful dog. She's very, very helpful. But what could I handle? What could I do? What needed more water? What did I need to tend? What seasons were coming? Because the vacation was at one of those cusps where the seasons change, where it's really mature and vibrant, but then the winds come and some seasons start to change. Seeds were blowing in from somewhere else. Seeds that I don't know where they came from, but they weren't things that I planted. All of a sudden, this elaborate ragweed was growing up everywhere, and all these other things. Some weeds, interesting, that when you pull, they pop more. Have you ever experienced that before? Yeah, I see some nods. As you pull them, because you're weeding, it actually populates more, and they grow and grow and grow and grow. So I didn't know what was happening here, but this seemed to be working against me. You ever had something in life where you think something's working against you, and all of a sudden you just kind of sink into give up, walk away, retreat, do something different? But the divine order of things is something to notice the power with. How could I work with the garden and work with my skills and see what was available here for me to learn? So I sat by the fountain. And I said, what is it that I need to do here? What is it I need to do besides more Googling, more reading of books, more seeing, more ideas? And the answer was something we know very well in spiritual community. Let go, let God. Like, but I did. I let go for 14 days. Look what happened. That's not what that means. Doesn't mean walk away. It means tend to the garden, but let go of maybe my idea of the perfect photography of better homes and gardens and everything perfectly appointed, and maybe work with what I can do in my skill sets. I got to say, some hardscapes did come in. I did reduce some of that planting ground. And I realized the thing that I loved the most were the flowers. They gave me the most joy. The vegetables, great, had a lot of harvest, had a lot of things come from that, but I noticed that the flowers gave me the greatest joy. So then it was fun planting bulbs and waiting, the patient waiting. And right now, you can imagine what's happening right now. Tulips, and there's some hyacinth and daffodils everywhere. But when we say let go, let God, and work with something, then we have to take it out of my plan, my thought. Here's my direction. You hear that emphasis there. And so how do we do it? Well, the first thing we do is we show up when we get up, we get dressed, we show up and we say, okay, I'm here. I'm here to see what God is revealing for me right in this moment. And then we have to go into a deeper trust. A deeper trust. There's a huge lesson in there. Some of us have worked years on trust relationships, not only with ourselves, but with others, with teams, with communities. Trust is a deep exercise, and I think it really aligns well with faith. And so I want to take us to a powerful scripture that I bet everyone has heard or heard and heard and heard again, and you know something about it. The parable of the mustard seed. You know that one? I just want to see a show of hands. You ever heard it before in your life? Any kind of? Sure. So I got to find it. You know, they're the tiniest of seeds. In my pocket. I promise I've got a mustard seed in here. Yeah. So that was Lent. That was not a mustard seed. So mustard seed. So while you can't really see it from there, it's one of the tiniest of all seeds, but there's a powerful reason why this was used, not only in Scripture, but long before Jesus used the power of the mustard seed. It's been used for metaphors for a lot of reasons. There's divine potential in something like that. The power of this divine potential that will be something. So what's the lesson there for us if we think of the power or the parable of the mustard seed? More on that in a minute, because I've got a different seed that might make you even happier. What seed is that? Come on. Go for it. Avocado seed? Yeah. Avocado seed. How many love avocados? Yeah? We eat a lot of avocados. Just got that one. How many of you ever tried to grow an avocado tree? Have you been successful? Yeah, no, yes? It's some work, right? A lot of patience, a lot of time. What, 7, 10, 15 years till you bear fruit? 20? Long time? No? Long time. Long time. Avocados are awesome. I mean, I'm probably getting your tummies rumbling right now thinking about lunch, thinking about avocado toast and guacamole and things. That's not really where I meant to go. But avocados, I would prefer to do something with an avocado seed just because it brings up a lot of joy and excitement and fun with avocados. Love that. But when we go to the mustard seed, we see all of them are divine potentiality. Divine purpose is emerging. And we go to, what are we growing? What are we experimenting with? Just like a garden. We play with things, gardening and experimenting, seeing what we're doing. In spiritual communities, we experiment. Sometimes we like to do things just as they've always been. Safe, it's what we know. Some of you come in and sit in the same seat every time you come into the sanctuary, don't you? How many people actually move around and sit in a different place every time? Oh my gosh. This is the advanced, Unity on Greenville, the advanced community. You know, usually if I say that, it's like, no, I mean, I'm that way. We know our spots. But going out of the pattern, trying something new, gives you a new perspective. You hear music different, maybe you see something different, taking a different path home. What do you explore? What do you see? So we try things. And in the interim experience, in this transitional season, we try new things. We see how it lands. Because a lot of times as a coach, as the years I spent as a coach when I would be coaching someone, we would have some homework or some assignments and we would take some steps together. And somebody might say, that's about as far as I'm going to go with this. That's okay. I'll walk with you just a couple more steps. But now sometimes people want to retreat and run all the way back and say, no. And sometimes we've spent years, months, years, decades, just kind of staying in one space. So I think our world is giving us, spiritual, faith-based communities is giving us an opportunity to lean into doing something a little bit different, but yet familiar. Does that give you an uncomfortableness when I say that? Doing something a little different? Trying something new? Change. What's your response to change, right? Change happens, and change also brings up some anxiety sometimes. Yet when we lean in and we experiment, we discover all sorts of stuff, which goes back to that trust. What do we trust? Brene Brown talks about trust being one of the seeds of possibility and vulnerability-based trust, which is not the trust you typically may have with someone you know very well, maybe a partnership, maybe in a marriage, but a vulnerability-based trust comes up in communities where you trust, but it may be a little awkward or a little uncomfortable at first. She says innovation and creativity are born of vulnerability. Brene Brown fans? Yeah, some of her work. Love her stuff. She's been able to do something really brilliant with marrying the head and the heart together, statistics and research with what actually is happening in the heart. Beautiful, beautiful work. So faith, trust, seeds of possibility. In Matthew 13:31-32, the parable of the mustard seed begins like this. He put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in his field. It's the smallest of all seeds, but when it is grown, it becomes the greatest of shrubs. It becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air can come and make their nests in its branches. Aw, sweet, poetic, beautiful. Seed becomes a shrub, becomes a tree, and then the birds of the air can come and make their nest. That's sweet. But if you know the rest of the story, if we just take that and continue with it, you might hear a little frustration start coming up with the writer, with the words that are attributed to Jesus. The mustard seed is a symbol, not only in First Testament, but in Second Testament, but also the Buddha used it. The Buddha used it in the grieving of a widow and her son, and that grieving transformation that she's not alone, that there is new birth and new life ahead. The symbol has been brought up for many people in many ways. This is the seed of possibility and transformation, because what does a seed do? It transforms. So to think something like the little mustard seed can become something so mighty that the birds of the air can make their nest in it. Parables, metaphors like that can flip us upside down sometimes. It can cause us to think a little bit differently, and I think that's the very point. It's a story that we know, that we've heard before, but when I apply it to my life, what might that bring for me today? The seed of potential. Because as we know, this story continues, that the man in the story has his son that he wants to bring to the disciples for healing. Does that sound familiar? But the disciples couldn't do it. And so the man brings the son to Jesus. And Jesus said, "Bring him to me." And the boy was healed. But it was the next line that there seemed to be some frustration. Bring him to me, Scripture tells us, and Jesus healed the boy. And later the disciples said, well, why? What's going on? Of course, I'm paraphrasing here, right? What's going on? Why can't we do this? And he replied, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. nothing will be impossible for you. Nothing will be impossible for you. Now, I can just imagine as a master teacher saying something like that, and students are trying to grasp this healing concept, but weren't able to do it. And somebody says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, that's tiny. If you have that much, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it'll move. Nothing will be impossible. What? Because we're looking at it through the literal sense. What's that actually saying for us? That's a question for you to answer. What's that saying? If we take the tiniest step, the smallest step into our faith, nothing is impossible for us. A world can truly be healed. Do you believe that? In our lifetime, do you believe that? I mean, everything out around us says, I don't know. But it truly is possible. Nothing is impossible. I can just imagine from this scene, if you really look at that text, that Jesus walked away from that thinking, oh, my gosh. My interpretation there, okay, I don't know that he went, my gosh. He might have gone, let me go out to the wilderness for a little while longer and take some steps and do some deep breathing exercises. Because come on, just look, just this much. This step, this divine experiment to try something. I love what the author in Hebrews 11:1 states, and it's actually in the top of the prayer box at the entrance. Substance of the things hoped for. Faith is the substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So it's leaning forward in what we cannot see. The most beautiful statement to this comes from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. How many know that one? Faith is taking the first step when you don't see the whole staircase. Think about that. I'm going to take a step, and I'm going to take a step, and I can't see the rest of it. But we take the step anyway because we trust. It's that vulnerability-based trust. This morning, the 420, the Post-it notes that God woke me up with were two more incredible quotes on faith, and I want to share those with you this morning. Gandhi, faith is not something to grasp, it is a state to grow into. You like that? A state to grow into. So we're always at work, working our faith. Maybe our faith goes from a mustard seed to an avocado seed. Another one. This one just really landed for me this morning. Helen Keller. If you know Helen Keller's story, this is an incredible statement. Faith is the strength by which a shattered world shall emerge into the light. Now think about her circumstances in her story. And for her to say, faith is the strength by which a shattered world shall emerge into the light. Wow. Does that land for you the way it did for me? That is powerful. It starts with a divine idea, a divine seed. We try. You ever heard of fail fast? Try something. Be creative. Try something. See what might work. It may not, but try something. Something was attempted and tried in 1891. Two incredible people, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, were sitting around with students, like they often did, and went into silence and went into the meditation time. And in that silence, I'm going to read what Charles Fillmore wrote. It came to him. He said, unity. At that moment, it startled him. He said, that's it. He cried out, that's the name of our work. They weren't thinking about a name to call it. They weren't thinking about anything. They were just doing their work. And there in the silence, the name unity cried out, a seed of potential. Look where we are today because of that cry out of unity. That's it. Later, he said that he told friends that it came right out of the ether, like the voice of Jesus was heard by Paul in the heavens. We have all heard that voice before, haven't you? Haven't you heard that intuitive voice that just says this? And you're like, then your head goes, oh, sure? Really? That? Why? And then we start doing the question. How are we going to do it? Strategic planning. Here we go. following that. We're in a season of transformation. Many faith-based communities are in a season of transformation. Our communities are in a season of transformation. And what are we called to do? Lean forward, to test, to experiment, to see what we can do together, united. Let's embrace the gifts that rise to the surface. As I walk through my garden, see, I paused there when I said my garden. Gosh, it is a source of all sorts of emotions. A lot of work. As we walk through the garden, as we see a flower emerge, just think of that flower. Just think of that plant. Just think of that dormant season. I took a walk yesterday to a park in the area, and it was just like flowers popping everywhere. It knew its time, and here it comes. Our principle 5 in unity, principle number 5, is all about this. It's great to know these things. It's great to know our spiritual principles, but we've got to put our feet, the action steps. We've got to move on it, act on it. Thoughts, words, actions, the seed of potential. So whatever we do, whatever we're trying out, we make sure that we're seeding it in love. Life-affirming love. Is it life-giving? Is it life-affirming? So how do we do it? Back to that first step. We get up, we get dressed, and we say, okay, God, here I go. Today I'm going to surrender and I'm going to let go, and I'm going to see where the day leads me. And then have the debate or 2 or 3 or whatever it's your process to do. And then we know that we are always seeding love. Faith-filled potential, ready and willing to grow. I am ready and willing to grow. We are always growing. Will you say that with me? I am ready and willing to grow. And now some enthusiasm. I am ready and willing to grow. Yes, absolutely. May you find moments in this spring season this week to just head to your car, going down the sidewalk, getting the mail, and just stop for a second in the busyness as everyone's moving by and just pause and go, I'm ready and willing to grow. Just pause. Take those intentional pauses. Try something new. Take a new direction home. Sit in a different chair. Move around. Next time you come to the service, shift spaces and see if you don't see something different. Even at home. Maybe sit in another chair rather than the same one with the remote on the left of the chair. Maybe it's on the right of the chair. Do something different that's awkward and kind of out. Switch sides of the bed. Oh, that's a big one, right? Oh, I don't know about that. I got to work my own homework, right? But just, you see what I'm saying? Just try things in small ways just to see if there's a pattern shift, because we can get really stuck. We've been on an incredible journey this last couple of years. We have experimented and we have tried and we've done things that are so different than our norm. And yet, do we run back to the way it was? Or do we take the lessons that are being given us to do something new? Whatever we do, all we seed is love. All we seed is love. Always remember, if you haven't heard it today, you're going to hear it in this sanctuary. You matter. You are sacred. And everyone at home, remember this, you are loved. And so we claim all these things, the sacred container, in peace, in love, and in unity. All you seed is love.
Hey, you guys know this one. Love, love, love.
You want to...
Love, love, love. Love, 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 love. We're going to start on the chorus. All you need is love now. All you see is love. All you see is love, love. Love is all you see. Yeah, there's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy, yes it is. All you see is love. Sing with me, come on. All you see is love. All you see is love, love. Love is all you see. Then there's nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy, yes it is. Come on, all you see is love. All you see is love. All you see is love, love, love. Love is all you see. Love, love, love. With me now. Love, love, love. It's love, love. La, 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 la. It's easy. All you see is love. All you see is love. All you see is love, love. It's all. Love is all you see. Listen now. There's nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nowhere you can be, it isn't where you're meant to be. 'Cause it's easy now. All you see is love. All you see is love. All you see is love. Planet now. Oh, love is all you see. Love is all you see. Planet. Love is all you see. Love is all you see. Love. Love is all you see.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
Guess what?
What have they got?
On your way out, I brought gifts again.
We'll let you come back.
On your way out, you have seed packets. All you see is love. So have them as a reminder. Have them as a reminder and affirmation. Yes.
Thank you. You can come back. He brought gifts 2 times. You've set a standard.
I know.
Before I forget, we're going to take a 10-minute break after the end of the service before we do Reverend Doug's Unplugged. I didn't say that earlier. So those of you virtually that are online, we'd like you to hang around and participate in that, but there will be a short break between the service and that. So on the screen is our core values. We like to share those as a community so that we keep focused on the right things. If you'll read with me. Unconditional love, conscious spiritual transformation, spirit of service, acceptance and inclusion, expression of divine light. And if technology will work with me, we have an affirmation for our youth. We'd like to share that together as well. We as Unity on Greenville claim the truth for our youth. We teach principles to empower each child and teen to fulfill their divine potential. Through fellowship, love, prayer, and meditation, they connect with God, each other, and our world. We also have an affirmation as we search for our new minister, and it's on the screen. We want to share that together. We welcome and affirm with love the perfect spiritual leader who embraces the truth of Unity principles. Next is the word of the day and the daily word. So the daily word for today is positivity. I plant seeds of positivity and harvest joy. Every gardener knows that blooms grow best in good soil. Even before planting, it's good practice to pull the weeds and prepare the soil, giving the seeds the optimal conditions in which to grow. Today I tend the garden of my consciousness. I pull the weeds of worrisome and unforgiving thoughts by denying they have any power over me. I create a fertile environment for new, positive thoughts to grow through regular prayer and meditation. When I touch that place of infinite stillness and peace, I affirm wholeness, prosperity, happiness, and security for my life. Like bright, beautiful flowers, these positive thoughts bloom and grow in my consciousness. Philippians 4:8. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, think about these things. Our affirmation for the day: I plant seeds of positivity and harvest joy. Thank you very much. I think next is our peace song with Rachel. And it's on the screen.
Yes, there is peace on earth. I know it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God, our Creator, united are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, there is peace on earth. The moment now, with every step I take, I make this my joyous vow. I take each moment, live each moment in peace, eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and I know it begins in me.
And together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. Happy Sunday.
All you need is love, love. Love is all you see. All you need is love. All you see is love. All you see is love. Love is all you see.